It's an amazing time to join us on the News and Current Affairs program, Politics Today, that comes live simultaneously on independent television and radio. As you know, it's an interesting program that cut across topical issues that seem to be, burdening the country, and looking at how to deepen practice in order to bring about a better development in the issue of governance from the cracks for the program Politics Today. I'm your host on today's edition, Philip Omogyupo, and basically we understand that there has been some challenge of traffic or gridlock in the UBTH axis, and as a result of an accident that occurred around that axis. But we also understand that traffic officials, of course the road safety officials, and all stakeholders necessary to clear the clog on that road are already attending to it, and so we will begin to see a free flow of traffic in that axis. Just in case you're going there, you may see such signs of gridlock in that direction, and basically that's also affecting some of our guests that are supposed to be here on today's edition of Politics Today. But glad to know that I have a distinguished personality, one who we can say is known as the voice of the commoners, and of course the convener of the Concerned Edo Citizens Forum, in the person of Roy Oribabo. It's always a pleasure to have you join us.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
Thank you.
So don't forget, listeners on independent radio, it would be a beautiful time for you to participate as the show progresses, and you always know that we tell you to be civil in your presentation. This show is all about you, and contributions via the number that will be given by which you will activate your voice to contribute to the development of this great country will be on the screen, and basically we will be verbalizing it to you, listeners on independent radio. And of course, our valued viewers, it's also important that you stick to the rule of being civil in your presentation. Today, we are looking at a critical aspect of the economy. You agree with me? Revamping the economy is paramount to every Nigerian, and not just to every Nigerian. It's paramount to the globe, the governments across the globe. Because one thing that affects the giant of Africa, as we are being noted for in Nigeria, goes a long way to make the world shiver. And looking at the population strength we have, the challenges of some saying that the present administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu as a president, he inherited a huge challenge of economy that is being sickened, and we're going to be looking at that. And a lot has been said concerning the sluggish movement we are having in terms of our economic growth, and of course the issue about the persistent inflation rate that has savaged this country has gone a whole long way to a 17-year high of about 25.58% increase in inflation rate as at August 2023. And with a slow rate of economy, we can say a huge number of Nigerians have been placed into poverty. But it won't be wrong to say that a huge number of Nigerians have again been placed into abject poverty, because you look at those, you tell me, show me a Nigerian that is not poor, and I could be showing you a Nigerian that belongs to the elite class, the political class. And we have a challenge where even the middle class is gradually being depleted. And what are the policies of the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, since assumption of office May 29, and since the withdrawal of subsidy on petrol? What has been the focus? What has been the build-up? What has been the growth? What has been the viable objectives that the government under President Bola Tinubu has been putting in place to bring about a boost in the economy? We look at the unifying of the foreign exchange. We look at the tax reforms. We look at all other, policies, fiscal policies of government, and of course the economic team put in place by the president. We're going to be looking at all of this in the course of this show, and we basically will look at the challenge where it's been on, and since May 29. Nigerians are still waiting, to see the curve change, to the progressive angle of Nigerians having a benefit from the administration of President Bola Tinubu, as he promised to bring about respite in the direction of the of Nigerians. And again, recently there was a survey that took place, and the survey across the globe estimated or brought about some countries that we are seen as worst hit in terms of food inflation rate, and Nigeria narrowly escaped from that table. We have Venezuela, we have Iran, we have Suriname, Turkey, we have Ghana, you know, and all other countries, about 10. But Nigeria narrowly escaped it. So what are your thoughts on this as the build-up?
Yes, because
the economy being
the research it's not the latest research. Therefore, it was after before our president came on board. Therefore, you cannot use that as a real research, or it's not what we will rely on. You know, what is happening in Nigeria today? What is happening in Nigeria today is that we need a serious economic focus. This is not the time to pretend about Nigeria. The economy is not doing well. The economy is terrorizing. The economy is suffocating. Therefore, you cannot build on that. What we expect the president to do, and I will continue to let the world know, because Nigeria will rely only on solely on the crude oil. And since we are relying on crude oil, what do? We must look for internal mechanism as a country to develop that sector. There is no business for we to continue to export our crude in dollars. You expect us here that will not feed it. I have postulated that as a country, our president, what he needs to do is to look at how can a country work without those foreign intervention. One, since we already have the crude, what do we do? Can we not get this crude to the local refineries? Let them refine it. By the time you are selling to them in Naira, and they will refine in Naira. They also sell in Naira. The petroleum product is supposed to be more than 250 as of today. If we are 250 in terms of Naira. Therefore, when you use that one to evaluate, you will know that we need to go back and look at what we can do for ourselves as a country, without necessarily waiting for the international forces to determine what we will do. As at the local level, if we get that our refineries are working at the local level, we'll get it right, because the people will directly benefit from it. As we just asserted that there is no difference between the rich, the middle, and the poor. Now the middle is no longer there. Yes, the middle is no longer there. It's either you are rich or you are poor. It's very unfortunate that you can no longer have the middle class because of the direct policy of this present administration. The government of the day, we are too much in a hurry to remove subsidy.
Are you not quick to say because of the direct policies of the present administration? Because a lot of experts have said that this present administration inherited a bogus...
No, these are some of the things you say. I begin to wonder. That's a lazy man approach to government and governance. When you keep on saying we inherited. The government is about access and liability. It's about access and liability. We can't continue lamenting that we inherited. No, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. And it's very, very elementary when you are planning and refocusing a country, for you to be telling the world that you inherited some.
So you see that as a flimsy excuse?
It's not even tenable, because before you came aboard, you were aware of the issue confronting us.
Okay, I think that should be a tip of the iceberg. So we're going to be having a lot to discuss as Royal Riverboard, who is in as the voice of the people and the convener of the Concerned Edo Citizens Forum, will be deepening expression in that regard. We take a short break, after which we extend the frontiers of this discussion. Do stay. Thank you for staying on. While we had our break, we were opportune to be joined by another big public affairs analyst figure, one who we can see as a clergy, and of course one of his repute who is seen as a social media influencer cutting across the countries of the globe. And he is also a senior pastor of Sword of Liberation Bible Church. And I have with me Bishop Austin Igbasan. Thanks for coming, Bishop.
Thank you, sir.
Well, a whole lot has been said, and I know you have always have belief in the present administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And viewers and, of course, listeners alike will want you to kind of express the hope that they should have in the present administration, looking at what we are really being faced with from May 29, when the announcement of the fuel subsidy removal, hit the country. There has been some shiver that the country is still trying to wake up from. And despite the fact that in the wake of his assumption of office, he made some speeches that could be seen as encouraging and hopeful for Nigerians to trust in his administration, there seems not to be light at the end of the tunnel, as some Nigerians will see. So what are your thoughts in this?
Definitely, there is one thing that is very important, and that is the place of patience when you are doing any reform. You ask yourself, I did a research on why is it that God created the whole heaven and earth in 6 days. And I discovered that the same God who has power to create the earth and create everything in 1 day is teaching us systematic and strategic planning and ability to be patient. The same God who created Adam and Eve without going for antenatal is the same God who did not create people by the same method he created Adam and Eve, because what he's trying to tell us, why will a woman be pregnant and she will not be aware until her menses did not come? Even herself, she is not aware that she has missed a period, because God is teaching us that life goes with strategic planning and patience. Definitely the removal of subsidy, so many people are not happy with it. But I think it is something that, if you look at all the presidential candidates, they all campaign that they are going to remove subsidy. Subsidy is long overdue, and it ought to be removed. And removing it, all of us are aware that to remove subsidy, that it is not going to be a drive-through. It's not going to be a drive-through that you remove subsidy today, automatically something picks up. All of us knew, and all the economists knew, that there is going to be a period that is going to be a cough period, that we are going to go through some pain. Nobody that is not aware, even the likes of President Olusegun Obasanjo that did not remove subsidy, then they knew, because many people are running away from the outcry and the pain that it will go with. Everybody wants a good name, but I think that a time must come in a nation where leadership should look at, let us go through some level of pain. If I give you an example now, to fly from Lagos to Benin, it's like the amount you are using to fly to London. Now, between Lagos and Benin, we just about 2 weeks ago, everything goes to 100% increase. It is not something that is easy for every person. Either the person buying fuel directly, or the person that owns a car, or you don't own a car. There is no way you can. I think the people that are not affected are witches and wizards who did not use fuel, use anything, buy something in the market to run their government. But anybody that is alive, either you are mobile, you are not mobile, either you are sitting on the wheelchair, everybody is affected. But these are things that we all knew, that whenever we remove subsidy, it's not going to be the next morning we will start breathing and say, let us clap, because these are stages that we are going to go through. Okay. But we must be able, as I'm talking about everybody going through the pain, I think from the end of the government angle, there must also be a level of bearing, and there are a lot of cutting of costs for governance and some other things that we can do that will make the country to bounce back on its feet.
Exactly the direction I'm going, because you spoke about the fact that there must be a teething challenge, a teething period where Nigerians will have to wait. And you also said that everybody is going through the pains that we're presently faced with. But some viewers and listeners will say that, well, they will take that statement with a pinch of salt, because we have another huge population of people that may not be affected by it. We have the political class, for instance, that may not be affected by it, or those who, by virtue of having contracts with the political class, a few of the bourgeois, may not be affected by it. But let's look at how it trickles down. We were listening to the speech by the Vice President, Shetima, where he said that even the fuel subsidy removal has brought about an increase in allocation to states, government. Yeah. And so by that, it means there's going to be a close in the gap of infrastructural deficit. There's going to be a close in the gap of payment of salaries and all that. But some are still taken aback by the fact that these allocations are coming, and yet there seems to still be pressure in terms of the poverty level of residents.
You see, with the area I want to come in on what you said is that it talks about leadership. Don't forget also, in this state, Edo State, we had oil derivation money brought in, a lot of money brought in, until Wike was former governor of Rivers State. There is nobody that was aware. It's about leadership. Now, when this is added to the allocation of the state, it was meant to trickle down to the masses. But the issue is that how many governors come out today and tell the people in their state? Of course, in this state, we have roads that are done by Oshomole government, and this particular government was paid. How many persons were carried along? In the House of Assembly, do they tell us that, oh, by the virtue of this was done, the federal road were done by a social government, and we were being paid? Now, you cannot expect a president from Abuja to begin to pass the information across. The highest they can do is to say, I would have expected also that the federal government will be open with it, and on each day, just like we did in the days of Engineer Guys Obaseki, NNPC, former NNPC's MD, where they publish as many liters and filling stations that they deposited fuel on daily basis, so that the masses can go there. If those people refuse to dispense, from our phone we can be telling them how much liter was dropped. Now that one trickle down to the governors of each state. How much love do they dispense? All of us were here during COVID. We knew states in this south that within 3 weeks they told us humongous amount that they use for COVID that kill people, that destroy lives, become a cash cow for political class. And I think that we have to get to a level where allocation to states will be published on newspaper, on social media. Special advisor to the president will be able to say, Edo State, Lagos State is giving so amount of money for their security vote. This is disbursed to them for so amount. This is what we have added to them. I think that if you are expecting openness and transparency from most of the governors, you won't see it. You will not see it. Now, I think that the federal government, whatever they are adding to cushion the effect, should be made so public and should be run like breaking news, and it should be taken to the grassroots, so that the people will be able to hold their governors accountable. And let me also say this: many of these governors you are seeing have put the House of Assembly in their pocket, and today you don't see a House of Assembly that will be able to look face to face with a sitting governor and be able to tell him, sir, you are not doing well. I take you back to the time of Honorable Matthew Egbado, in the days of Honorable Thomas Okosu, where they invite the governors to stand before them, in the days of Chief Lucky Igbinedo, where he comes and analyze matters, and they discuss, and the masses are there. Now, how many of these governors, now that their state speaker or their state House Assembly can look face to face and someone to come up and come and tell them what is happening to whatever is coming from Abuja? That is where we are. That is the area we are. Okay. We are the leadership, we are political class, who's supposed to be able to cushion the effect of what is happening to the grassroots. They are not there to be questioned. Okay. They are not available. Even party leaders cannot call their governors, cannot call their leaders.
You seem to be shifting blame to the sub-national government instead of the national government.
What I'm saying is that if my allocation, my brother is here, if it is 1 billion, and the federal government add 9 billion to it, am I going to start fighting the federal government?
There should be
we were here in Edo State. Were we told that money was paid? A special amount of money was paid until a governor of one of the South states said all of us come out this month. After that time, did the government of the state come out and tell the masses, ABC is what we have done?
Thank you, Bishop. We'll come back to that. It's always like this whenever we have such energy of coming from Bishop Austin Igbasa on his articulation. And of course, Royal Riverbo looking at strategic ways to also hit issues concerning how to get it right in government policies. We're going to be taking a short break again, after which we go firing on all cylinders to bring you a huge aspect of our discussion today. Don't you go away. Well, I'll show you that this next part of the episode for today will go seamless to the end of our discussion. But while we had a break, we were opportunity to be joined by an economic expert, an economist, of a lecturer at University of Benin, Dr. Presley Osemige. Thanks for joining me, Dr. Presley.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Philip. Good morning. Good morning, Nigeria.
Okay, a lot has been said by Bishop Austin Igbasa, and I know you have a lot to also tackle in terms of what he said. He made mention of the fact that, even subnational governments seem not to be helping the national government to make allocations trickle down to the masses, and also gave instances of palliatives, even the COVID-19, what transpired and all that. Do you seem to have a grasp about that, Roy?
So?
I asked.
I thought you were asking me because you mentioned that. But just press second.
No. Looking at the issues concerning subnational governments not firing to capacity in assisting the national government in terms of trickling down the allocations that it gets from the center. Bishop Austin Igbasa has said a lot in that regard, that subnational governments seem not to be doing to full capacity in that regard. Most especially, again, I have to go through the full length anyways. Again, even the COVID-19 palliatives, like he said, was also another era where subnational government couldn't deliver to capacity. Do you have any grounds in what he said as regards that?
That position is neither here nor there, because we are looking at the removal of subsidy. We are looking at the stress Nigerians are passing through. We are looking at the misdirection and focusless approach that has been demonstrated and exhibited by government in power. We cannot be talking about states. You agree with me that the federal government...
Oh, no. Let me guide you. That came as a result of the statement credited to the vice president, where he said that a lot has been put in place in terms of increased allocation to states as a result of the fuel subsidy removal.
The Nigeria federal government is one of the most powerful governments on the surface of the earth. The Nigeria president is so powerful. There's no president in the world you can use to compare Nigeria president. We were told that you are removing a subsidy, and you told us, even in the first 1 month, they told us that social money was saved. And all of us, we believed them. As if that was not enough, we saw them embarking on a voyage of borrowing again. And we begin to ask ourselves, now another shenanigan is coming from the office of the vice president, that the money will be allocated to states. Money allocated to states is not something that is hidden. You don't need to go to Kofu to change it. On daily basis, once money is being shared in Abuja, you see the total cost. There is something hidden about money share.
Okay, but the challenge here is it trickling down to the masses?
Now, what is it? You will not ask yourself. That is the reason why I keep on them. There's a limit the states can go compared to the federal. These are the issues we need to face.
In terms of allowing a fair share of the allocation that they get to trickle down.
I am not only brief for the states. I am telling you that if you calculate the percentage of federal road in Nigeria, and with the kind of money the federal government is taking, what can a state do? If Raw River Boy is going to Okwadoana, I will be taking on the federal road. Then if any person from Okwadoana is coming to Benin, the farmers, you are coming to come and sell your produce, you will be embarking on the federal, and these roads are not motorable. When we expect the federal government to be interested in those federal roads, so that you immediately fix those roads. Because the situation we find in our country now is that things are not working. This is not time. If you say you are sharing a huge amount to states, and you are not giving them directly to go and fix this federal government role, what will happen? These are the issues. We must critically examine those issues. Okay. When we examine it, then we will know how to provide solution. Let us not be explaining and talking to the people based on sentiments. Okay. You understand me? The party in power he's supporting is talking about, they are not new in power. This is a party who have been in power for over 8 years.
I know you have a very strong appetite to react to that.
You understand me? Yes, there's a party in power. Yes. You cannot now come and be telling me that we inherited this. All these excuses you are hearing from them. To me, I said it before, it's a lazy man approach. But you know the problem of this country before you vie for position. I agree with him when he said that all the aspirants, all the candidates, they believe that removal of subsidy was key. Do you know why? One person instituted that ideology that will remove subsidy. The rest, they photocopy it. In the process of photocopying it now, they don't know how to utilize it and apply it. That is where we are now. Okay. And that is the reason why we are not moving forward.
I think we should have a say from an economic expert. A whole lot has been said by the federal government in terms of unifying foreign exchange, injecting fiscal policies that will help stabilize the economy, despite the fact that we've been having a free fall of the naira. And just recently, we're starting to see scarcity of naira notes. And a lot was said by the Anambra State governor, Soludo, when he was one time the CBN chief. And he also said a lot was done or inherited by the present government, in terms of the ill economy that was passed to the present government. And he also said that issues concerning unchecked and illegal printing of currency notes, has brought us to where we are. He made mention of, illicit, lending or giving money to the federal government by the CBN, also led us to where we are. Now, do you see policies under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to tackle all of these differences? Okay,
well, once again, thank you for having me. If you talk about policy, Nigeria have been known for one thing. In terms of policy, our policies are always very objective, clear.
Always very objective and clear.
Very, very objective.
That's the good call.
Yes, the implementation is always the major challenge. How do we go about it? And how do we achieve the major target?
But do you agree we have a very viable economic team put in place by the president?
How do you define a viable economic team? It must be a reflection.
Like the coordinator of the economy, for instance, in Wale Edu.
I don't believe in, if they're truly viable, I think let's give them at
like the Caroso-led government on CBN.
Let us see a reflection of viability on the economy and on the life of
the people.
But is it what will trickle down quickly, or isn't there be?
No, as an economist,
there must be a time frame, at least because some have been saying like when the president was 100 days in office, a lot of quiver came up. But a lot shouldn't be that, because even 100 days is not enough from the 1,000 or over 1,400 days that the government will spend in office for that 4-year term, So even 100 days is not enough. So don't you see respite if all of these viable objectives and of course the policies that you said, the blueprints are clear and laudable, if such energy is put in place at the end of 1 year, what do you expect in terms of the results coming?
Mr. Philip, I think where we seem to be missing this thing, the fact that there are short-term measures that must be matched with short-term, objective, and target. There are long-term measures that must also be matched with, long-term targets. Now, the problem we have is that on the short term, what can I do to fix or cushion, a critical aspect of the economy?
Like a quick fix it.
Yeah, exactly. So we seem not to be getting that, right.
Initiative.
Yes. That's why they tend to be using either a middle term or a long term policy.
Okay, but the quick fix it, isn't it coming in place of like in the fashion of palliatives?
Yeah, I think palliative is more like palliative is something that is sustainable. It's something that is brought forward to actually cushion the short term, effect of a certain government policies or measure.
So are you saying that's not part of the quick fix it? Okay, let's look at the modular refineries, for instance. A lot has been said, even it was in the news stream of one modular refinery, Petroman, that has brought a huge volume of product, to the petroleum circulation. Now, which gives room for much to be explored in the angle of licensing, modular refineries to bring a boost in that direction. Isn't that?
I have always been an advocate of, giving free licenses to people to operate, modular refineries. Even private sector should be given a license, because once you do that, you are going to empower the people that will be employed. Again, it's going to be a serious boost to the economy. The economy will grow, by that process. Like I said, people will earn income. Even the economy will also earn income. It's a laudable thing to do. Do not share. I don't believe in the idea of trying to be, I think government, one thing about government, there's a lot of secrecy in government implementing a policy. We seem to lack, clear direction and focus and goals. Like I said, they have good, fantastic policies, but the implementation of the policy is a problem. What stop up to to giving free licenses to people that are ready to invest in modular refinery? Knowing fully well that if this one comes aboard, it's going to bring a lot of contributions, to the economy in terms of economic growth, in terms of income, in terms of employment, and again, the other people that seem to to survive under this the build-up of modular refinery will also benefit from it.
We've been having shocks about naira scarcity, in spite of the attempt by the federal government to educate and, of course, to explain that the aspect of the deadline, being fixated on December has been taken off indefinitely, and that there should be a free flow of both the old and the new naira notes. But we still have a scarcity. What do you think economically could be responsible for that? Okay,
I think government is trying to use the alternative routes to transaction, which is what online transaction. People should appreciate the fact that they can do business online, not just physical cash alone. For example, when I went to get I want to buy something, I do simple transaction and transfer. Again, some persons also argued that government is trying to mop up more money through that transfer process because there are extra costs attached to it. So government is trying to reduce the flow of the money in circulation because of inflation. As of today, inflation is running over 27% about 25%. Meaning inflation is defined as when too many money chase after a few goods. Okay,
but you seem to say that the government has a hand in this because the government has said that there should be a free flow of both the old and new naira notes. But I'm thinking there could be an aspect of hoarding by some.
That's why I just make allusion to the fact I said government is a tax system or tax system by government can restrict the flow of the visible naira and creating a backdoor or through alternative windows that people can engage in a transaction.
Okay.
Online.
So you see that as laudable? As
okay, I don't have a problem with that because Nigeria must move forward, whether we like it or not. Other economy in the world, they've gone beyond, physical cash. You can do transaction through other alternative means. Okay, let's get your reaction on that, Bishop Austin Igbasa.
Definitely, just like he has said, there are long-term and short-term process of pushing this effect, which I know for sure that the sitting president, if we put it side by side, we cannot compare where he's coming from with the former president. And therefore, everything in Nigeria is about leadership. And when you take, that's why you see that I came down to the governors. And I tell you, either my brother is dodging it, that the governor, there's no how federal government will come and tell the governor what to do. All of us were here in the days of Jonathan, sovereign wealth fund, and the man said, let us put the money. Amechi and the rest of them, as governors forum, they took it to Supreme Court. When the other government came on board, the same Amechi who took Jonathan to court, when the man said, let us save for rainy day, was the same man who was clapping that, Jonathan government is a rudderless government. You see, in this country, the same Jonathan brought the issue of a BVN, whatever, to fight crime. That if you like, go and use 10 names in different banks, by the virtue of BVN, not by your face, not me coming to slap you. The system will bring it out. So if we look at what the federal government have done by saying there is no, we can use the old naira and the new naira note, is a laudable idea. And also, there was a time I was in UK. I went to go and buy something, and when I wanted to pay, I brought £50. Do you know that the young lady was holding the money, was checking it, and she went to the supervisor. 23 years old lady, have never seen £50 in her life. Wow. Went back to the supervisor and said, I can't understand this currency. Is it a country currency? Wow. The woman that came back and said, it's a country currency. These are foreigners. These are a result of a cashless policy. Cashless policy for 23 years old girl who has left the university and she is serving, doing her working, whatever. In the country, never seen it in the country. She has never seen it in her life. She has never seen £50. So she took it and said, what currency is this? It's the currency of your nation. He said, excuse me, and she went back to the supervisor. That tells us that for a 23 years old girl not to have seen that, he talks about cashless policy. And also, talking about everybody going online, because the country must go forward. It must not be that all of us carry cash all around. It will also help the government in the issue of printing and minting. It will reduce the money that the government will be spending on printing of currency. If we are doing online, everybody is doing online. It will also help the communication company to be able to extend their tentacle to the rural areas. Because the more they have customers in the rural area, the more they boost their economy, and even the rural environment will also grow. So what I want to say is that the ones we are going to say federal government, like what my brother said here, I want to correct that state government have power to do more roads than federal government. Ask any contractor will tell you that a state government can finish a road that the federal government will do for 5 years. they can finish it in 6 months because they have the bulk of the money with them and they can mobilize their contractor without any administrative bottleneck. So when you see a governor who is not performing on road and is levying this one, that one, I saw somebody praising one of the governor of the south that they did a structure. I was laughing because when you go to Rivers State, you see a structure started from foundation by a sitting governor and finished it. They were doing it simultaneously every day. But they say in the country of the blind, anybody that have one eye is their chairman there. So every person we must look at. As we talk about the federal government, now we must talk about the money. The money said, how many of the governors are open today to tell you every month? My brother said we can access the money sent to every state. I will ask him here to tell us how much was sent to Edo State this month.
I think it's quite.
I will tell you to vote. How many governors come out today and say this is how much my people?
Thank you.
They gave me so amount for security vote. And I want us to channel it to other areas. We are not having crisis in those states. We are not having a security problem. But this money, I want to put it on the road so that my people can be able to access. Is it Abuja people that are using our road?
A lot has been said. And
the road in those states, is it Abuja people that are driving on it?
Okay, let's get reactions from the public. The number to call is 0807 777 0300. 0807 777 0300. For our listeners on independent radio, you are very free to call. And please don't forget, I did say that you should ensure that you are civil in your presentation. As we have our first caller. Good morning, caller.
My people that are in that place, good morning.
All right. Your name, please.
My name is Mr. Wonderful. The
Oh.
thing is that all of us, we are crying of economy. Economy that is a consuming economy. How will that economy survive? We don't produce, even a toothpick, we cannot produce in this country. How will that economy survive? Whether they borrow, they don't borrow, once you are not a producing economy, that economy will not survive. And now the president is getting out to go and be bringing people to come and invest in our economy. And the economy that is not running. Look at, we don't have people like no good road, everything, no security, nothing. How will that economy survive? You want to bring people in, they will not survive.
Okay, what's your name again, please?
Wonderful.
Hello?
Wonderful.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, wonderful. Thank you, wonderful. Okay, let's allow others to call in. The number to call is 0807 777 0300. We have your call. Good morning, caller. Tell us your name and location quickly. Mr. Jara.
Calling from Sesame.
Okay, go ahead, please.
My take is this: if you like, you have the best president in Nigeria. If you don't have a boost of national governors, you have a problem. I'll give you an example. There's a statistic difference that RAS is 8% increase in Nigeria, but in Edo is the highest in Nigeria. But this is a state where a governor took a 5 billion loan for CPN 3 years ago, and we are still talking that is the concept in Edo. So if the governors don't do the right thing, they cannot do magic. The subnational has the problem we have in Edo. In Nigeria, the governors are the emperor of democracy. They don't do the democracy down to us. The governor will tell the federal government to bring more money to the state. Meanwhile, their local government is not functioning. And they keep on telling the federal government, we need more money, we need more money. We need more money. The government will take their own money. Would they like it? We are not functional local government who will work with people because of the emperors of the governors. That is my take this morning. The governors
Thank you. Thank you. Well, you got that. So let's get to you as we call this discussion to a head.
The issue is very direct. I have always said that Nigeria, we cannot continue to borrow and steal.
Okay, but you made mention, the last caller made mention of subnational governments.
These are
being the headache of the country.
These are always be the issue. Because what drives the process, we must get it right. There's a limit a state governor can go. These are the issue because now if you are to take any of your produce from Benin now to Lagos, it's federal road you are going to use. If you are going to Kano to go and say Central Road, you are going to. These are some of the issues we want to.
The governors that
can the citizens get a boost for the extra in the increase of the allocation given to states?
Of course, that is the issue. Well,
and you remember where he even said that in some states where you don't have the local governments being alive to their responsibilities,
it's not even, that is
as
the
result of
that is the reason
the
why
operations of the state government.
You recall in this program, and I told you the reason why I don't have regard for Obasanjo, because that power is so longer there for the local government to function. The local government is just there. You know, it said the grace of God. When you see a governor who is willing to even conduct a local government election, you should celebrate it, because some of them just sit there in the office and appoint anybody they want to appoint.
When they do the election, the governors want to make money from the election. Because they love the grassroots. They want to write some amount of money that they used to do election.
What we should be talking about,
it is not because they love the people.
For Nigeria to get it right,
they want a talent.
We need that sense of direction from the national government.
Right,
once the federal government is there, giving us direction.
Okay, let's get another contributor. Hello, please turn down the audio level on your radio set or your TV set. Please, have you done what I asked you to do? Good morning.
Yes.
All right, so what's your name and your location, quickly?
My name is
I think if we must get it right as a nation, it starts with our being honest as citizens. You said you've turned down the volume on your radio or TV set, but I'm still getting echoes at the background, which means you've never done that. Okay, go ahead. All right, well, a lot he said concerning the money given to subnational governments, and he was so much interested about that given to Edo State and the promise made by the governor in terms of the palliatives. Well,
what was the promise?
As we call it around.
What was the promise of the governor?
Oh, well, by him, he spoke about the 5 billion naira as promised by the government
we must get
the effect in
we
terms
must
of
get the facts right, because we are on national television. We cannot just be, I cannot say what I cannot give account of. Therefore, it's good for we to know what was the promise. It's not there. Even my bishop here will also know that it's not there. But we are seeing, my point is that we must get it right in Nigeria. The only way for we to get it right, if you get it right from the head, everything will be okay for you. Nigeria federal government must show that commitment. They must, because over 52% lie with them. Okay. The local government and state government have to share the rest of 48%. Where are we going from there? Now, actually, if you can get me 50% in any exam, you are a good student.
Okay, let's get your response on this as we look forward to closing it.
I think the first, let's go back to the Constitution. Though people have argued that our Constitution is, defective in terms of the way it was, crafted. I think the Constitution have clearly stated, the function and the duty of the federal government and the subnational government, even the local government. I think if we can actually abide by the rule that is actually designed by Constitution, if we abide by the rule of law, all of these will not be an issue. For example, if a road that is supposed to be fixed by the federal government is fixed by federal government, there will not be news. There will not be issue. If roads that are supposed to be built or fixed by the state government is fixed, there will not be issue. But the problem, we have problem because there will not be, in a game blame in terms of, I receive the highest allocation, I receive less allocation. I was just with a friend not quite long. I said, the problem we have in Nigeria today are subnational governments. They are governors. They are creating a lot of problems.
Not the national.
Both of them have issues. As I said,
Oh,
if
you mean more of this?
More, yeah, more problem.
I think that'll be another day.
I'll use the word.
Let's get your final words
Now,
on
like
this.
what I said is that a state governor that wants to do a road, even a state road or federal road, have money to do it. I'm saying it now. All contractors should bear me witness that what I'm saying now, they will be saying it at home that the best person that can fix a road is the state government, because they have ability to start a project within 9 months, 6 months, and finish it and disburse the money. I give you an example. When Wike was leaving, the contract to do the road all over 6 local government was 187 billion. 130 billion was paid. What I'm saying is that this president was a governor, and under Obasanjo created additional local government.
Okay, thank you.
And he financed them. So I think that it is about the sub-government. They can be able to do it and do it well.
Let's get you on 30 seconds.
Lagos is not use Lagos State as a case study. Lagos is more than West Africa in terms of resources. Therefore, don't use that as a case study. Otherwise, you'll be
Make a point in 10 seconds.
You know, as far as I'm concerned, Nigerians should remain very focused. We must be very determined more than ever to elect a leader that will be there for us, who will lay a foundation for this country. There is no foundation yet, and that is the reason why we are still dealing.
There's no foundation yet.
What about the question of
let's get your conclusion quickly in 10 seconds.
I think let's Nigerians be hopeful. Let's be more patriotic. Let's pray for our nation, because we don't have any other nation. I want to appeal to every one of us. Let's be patient with this government.
Thank you very much, discussants, and I really know that you would have loved to say more, most especially Roy Rivabo and Bishop Austin Igbasa. Well, much has been said. Big thanks to you, Dr. Presley, for taking our time, in spite of a busy schedule, and of course to Roy and Bishop Austin Igbasa. Well, there's a whole lot we've been saying, and we'll continue to say it until we begin to see the dividends of good governance. We can hardly say dividends of democracy. Of good governance to the people. I am Philip Omo Gyukpon. We do this same time next week. Goodbye.